Today I'm doing a video about the CRKT MinimalX, designed by, probably going to butcher his name, Dario Caston of D Rocket Designs. It's based on his SpaceX knife, which he had designed for, well, SpaceX. It was apparently being evaluated for possible use by the crew, so not sure, but it might have been intended to go to space. So today we got a couple of space themed things to go with it. Got a space shuttle door gunner patch and a silver Eisenhower dollar from 1971, which also gives a good idea for the scale of the knife, because this knife is not big. It has stainless steel frame lock, a clip that is way too bloody tight. Like, there's no way to actually get this onto a pocket right now. I'm gonna have to loosen it. The original one was titanium frame lock, and if you take a look, it had a kind of an open design in this area. It was an interesting thing. Anyways, has a front flipper and a weird shaped blade. This is not blunt, it is sharp, but probably better than having like a stiletto or something. Now, overall, I like the looks of it. My wife bought it for me for Christmas, so I got this yesterday. I've not used it for anything yet, but before I do carry it and use it, there's some things I'm going to have to change. Most importantly, right here, this area here is sharp enough to, well, I mean, it'll cut you. You can actually gouge yourself in that area right in there. That is very damn sharp. And along here, this whole lock bar cutout area is insanely sharp. They've rounded the edges nicely, they rounded everything in here well, but this whole cutout area is so damned ridiculously sharp. I mean, you can scrape fingernails with it incredibly easy. I mean, it's kind of dumb. Also, you can see that this is entirely flush with the other side. There's no cutout like on a lot of liner and frame locks would allow you to get your thumb in there to disengage the lock bar. And it's so narrow an area in there that it's really annoying to disengage the lock. So before I actually carry it and use it, I'm going to be taking it apart. I'm going to probably use a Dremel sanding drum to make a little bit of an opening there so that it can be accessed with the thumb for closing it a lot easier. And although it's still going to be steel instead of titanium, I'm thinking I will drill probably 3 relatively large holes in this area to lighten it a little bit more, given the theme of space. Now, they went with this fuller here. It's not a blood groove, it's a fuller for aesthetics. I mean, they're gonna say, oh, this is to make it lighter. Well, no. You see, all this does is make it so that it thickens very quickly behind the edge. For this thin a stock, just over 1/8 of an inch, it would have been much better to just take a full flat grind coming from the spine and coming down there. And you can see here how they've beveled the back. It's not sharp at all, but they've beveled it. They could have even done that. They could have had that bevel there and then have it come flat right up to there. This fuller does nothing other than the looks that the designer wanted, and that's fine. He wanted a look, he got it. I guess I thought it kind of looked neat, since I told my wife, hey, that thing looks neat, and then she got it for me. But as far as utility, it actually gets in the way of stuff, because now this does not cut nearly as efficiently going through material because of how quickly it thickens behind there. Okay, so I fixed up the MinimalX. The a bit of a cutout here so I can access the lock bar easier. But I'm not going to be drilling any holes in it because it turns out that it already has these lightning milled out spots on both sides, the lock bar side and the non-locking side. So they've already done what they can to make it lighter and make up for the fact that it's steel rather than titanium. Next, we'll see what it looks like put together. Okay, so I've fixed up the MinimalX. Works quite nicely now. As you can see, it has that cutout area there, which allows for easy thumb access to disengage the lock. So now it is actually quite nice that way. Also, this area is no longer sharp at all. Run your thumb all along there safely. And so it's cool that way. Last night I also had used it on some leather. Found that the front part there, pushing down, cut quite nicely when I was cutting leather. It also tested on some boxes, worked really well. And this secondary tip area here worked really nice. As you can see, it digs in real easily, and so like when you want to rip through boxes, that works. Also, I found that even though this is not pointy, it's kind of a spatula tip. When you shove it into cardboard, it'll cut in quite nicely, and then you're able to do your regular cutting. So overall, it's quite a useful knife. Only thing it wouldn't be any good for is if you have a splinter. You're not going to be picking it out with this is not a splinter picking tip at all. But for regular other EDC type uses, the MinimalX will work quite nicely as long as you don't mind having to do that little bit of work and making a cutout so that you can close it easily. And I did get the pocket clip looser, so it's still tight, but now it actually will go into the pockets of shirts, pants, whatever, without, well, before it just wouldn't, now it does. So at this point I would recommend the MinimalX as a purchase if you don't mind putting the little bit of effort in of making a opening there so that you can close it, and if you don't mind sanding this, filing and sanding that so that it doesn't cut you and gouge your thumb or whatever.